Welcome to this epic Armageddon battle report. This is a 3000 point game between the Lost and the Damned and Tau Empire. The lists are net EA lists and are available from the link below in the description. Then let's look at the lists. The Lost and Damned list has 4 Covens, 4 support formations, and in Demon Pool 1 Greater Demon and 8 Lesser Demons. The first is Mutant Coven with mutants and land transports plus Hydra. The second is Defense Coven with 4 big mutants and 4 traders fire support units. Then we have Lord of Battle and Khorne demon engines as a support. Then we have an Ultra Coven which has Altar and a couple of big mutants. And then we have a Mechanized Coven and supports Silver Towers and Thunderbolts. Then let's look at the Tau Empire. The Tau Empire list has following. First we have 2 formations of Crisis, one with Supreme, another with 6 units. Then we have a formation of Kroot, Barracuda, then Firewarriors in Orca and Tigersharks with drones. Then we have a second formation of Kroots. Then we have Hammerhead, Hammerhead formation. Then we have Mechanized Firewarrior formation with Pathfinders and extra formation of Pathfinders, and finally we have a formation of Tetras. And that's the armies. Then let's look at the deployment. The Tau deployed on the left while Lost and Damned on the middle. The objectives are marked in red and blue squares. And here is the overview. And if we look at the Lost and Damned, we have Silver Towers in here. Then we have the 2 Change Covens. Then we have Lord of Battle, Defense Coven, and Khorne's engines, and finally the Mutant Coven. On the Tau side, we have 2 Kroots put in front, and then we have Tetras, Pathfinders, and some Crisis suits on the list. And that's the deployment. Then we go to the first turn. First action, the Tau wins initiative and Lost and Damned go first. Then we put Thunderbolts to cap. And from Tau we have Tigershark make a crowd attack and they destroy 1 Silver Tower and drop the drones. Then the Ultra Coven doubles ahead, taking up position in the buildings. They don't have any targets to shoot at this point. There we go. The Tau then choose to march the Tetras ahead, and they take positions around the hill and make sure that the Mutant Coven is in marker light range. And this causes the Mutant Coven to engage. Now the Tau player made a slight mistake here because he didn't remember that there are actually half of the mutants still within the transports. And as they now jump out to fight, the Tau commander realizes that this is not going to be good for him. So we have the assault, and that causes the Tetras to be wiped out without any losses to the mutants. And there we go with the consolidation. Then there is a coordinate fire using Pathfinders and Hammerheads. And first the Pathfinders move ahead with double, marking the target and firing with their weapons as well. And that destroys 1 unit. Then the Hammerheads go with advance, and they take positions partly behind the forest and fire at the mutants as well. And they then destroy Hydra and several of the land transports. Then, seeing an opening, the Lord of Battle doubles ahead, 1 move on the road and 2nd move then north. and it targets the Hammerheads and blows up 2. Get in range. Barracuda then make a ground attack, targeting the mutants and destroying several more, and breaks the formation. They fall back into the forest. Try to keep out of 30 centimeters from Pathfinders in hopes of getting a better rally. Then the Khorne demon engines double and they move up to fire at Pathfinders. However, they manage only do 1 blast marker. Then from Tau it's Crisis and Firewarriors which do a coordinated fire, and first Mechanized Firewarriors double and fire at the Lord of Battles. Here we go. They manage to do 1 damage, and then the Crisis formation doubles to get in range of some of their fusion shots, but not all, unfortunately. And they actually don't manage to damage it, so they jump in the forest. This causes then it's Lost and Damned and Silver Towers decide to regroup in order to remove the blast markers that it got from Tigershark's attack, and they move a bit ahead. Then Kroot 1 formation tries to engage the Lord of Battles but fail and hold removing blast marker instead, and from Lost and Damned the Mechanized Coven moves forwards to take up some positions behind the Ultra Coven, since they failed to double. Then Orca makes a ground attack, and this causes Thunderbolts to make their strike against the aircraft, but they don't manage to destroy it. However, they do 1 point of damage, which is marked yet here. Then the Firewarriors jump out and engage the Lord of Battles, which countercharges towards them, but that doesn't really help since there is too much fire at it. It, however, does not take any damage. So it falls back, and the victorious Tau consolidate, moving partly into the building and partly into the area decided. Here we go. Then it's Crisis Formation 2, which doubles ahead and takes some pot shots towards the Khorne demon engines, but don't do much damage, and then they jump back into the forest. And finally, Kroot Formation 2 marches ahead, taking positions in the ruined building. Then in end phase, the Hydra manages to knock out 1 of the Tigersharks, and the Orca is destroyed also by 2 Hydras and the Ultra firing at it. So that's the end, what the end phase starts, the end phase of turn 1 looks at. And here we then pan round the field. The Lost and Damned are advancing, while the Tau are creating a defensive line, with the drones annoyingly flanking the Lost and Damned army. So the main focus of the battle seems to be the hill inside the building, around the buildings, and then the other hill right next to the buildings, with the Khorne demon engines on it. And that's it for turn 1. On to turn 2. Yeah, on turn 1 the Mutant Coven fails to rally, so they withdraw behind the second forest in order to get away from the tower and hoping to rally better next turn. So turn 2, Lost and Damned win the initiative, and they decide to summon a great demon, a lot of change, and move ahead with the Outer Coven on advance. And then they fire at the Mechanized Firewarriors, managing to kill 1 unit and 1 devilfish. Then, retaining the Lord of Battle, engages the Mechanized Firewarrior formation into firefight, and with the help of Lord of Change, wins the combat. And one unit of Pathfinders manages to survive, and the Lord of Battle consolidates, moving ahead. Then the Tau decides to press in on the flank, and Fire Warriors engage the Khorne demon engines into firefight as well, and they move ahead. And in here, the Khorne demon engines countercharge, and in here we see an example of how not to roll resolution. So snake eyes versus double sixes, not great. We lose. There is 1 demon engine lost in the engage, and they fall back behind the hedges. Then it's Lost and Damned, and Thunderbolts make a counter attack, managing to destroy 1 more Hammerhead. And Tigersharks from Tau stand down instead of firing. Then Lost and Damned Silver Towers, which advance, taking positions behind the buildings, and then they pop and fire at the Crisis and manages actually to hit 1 macro weapon shot. From Tau it's the Hammerheads, which regroup and move ahead. And there we go. And then they remove all ballast markers and regroup. Then it's the Mechanized Coven, which doubles. They decided to summon 5 lesser demons, so 5 flamers, and disembark, taking control of the hill. The flamers are moving outside of the transports, so they are not managing to be very much in the front on the sides. And they fire at the Crisis and manage to kill 1, and the Crisis break and fall back. There we go. Then the Pathfinders double. And in here I realized that I made a mistake because I didn't remember that there was snipers in the Pathfinders. And they managed to shoot the land transport with Timagoku inside and kill 1 extra unit. So that's a big blow for the Mechanized Coven. Then the drones double, and they jump up to give a blast marker to the Silver Towers, and then jump back after shooting. And then the Crisis formation number 2 goes, and they go and fire at the Mechanized Coven, killing a lot of units, which doesn't quite break the formation. However, that is not a big help, as the Kroot 2 then engage the Mechanized Coven into a firefight. And in here, the Chimeras and one of the unit inside Chimera manages to countercharge and catch the crisis suits in the engage, and they manage to kill several of the crisis suits. Now that's a big bonus for the Lost and Damned, since they lose the combat and fall back, but they also managed to kill the Supreme Commander from Tau, and the lone crisis jumps back. Then the Barracudas, which intercept the Thunderbolts and shoot them both down. And the Kroot 1 formation doesn't actually do anything. And that's what it looks like currently at the end of second turn. We have Tau advancing, and the Lost and Damned advance slightly halted, but a lot of battles is still leading, and here you can see what it looks like. There we have Mutant Coven back. Lots of blast markers in Tau, but some formations that have been broken. A lot of battles quite just not broken, but almost. And the drones, which are unharmed at this point. Then we have one withdrawal in the end phase. Now the crisis formations also failed, but they didn't move, so the Mechanized Coven failed to rally, and they take position behind the building there. And then turn 3, and Tau win the initiative, and first the Pathfinders double, and they move in front of the Lord of Battle and fire at the coldest Coven, killing several units. Then the Tau Kroot 1 retained but failed to assault again. From the Lost Attempt, the Khorne demon engines go next. They take positions on top of the hill and fire at the Hammerheads, killing the rest, leaving only the Skyray alive, broken. Then from Tau, the Kroot engage, the Kroot 2 this time, managing to engage, and they go against the Lord of Battles into firefight. And the Lord of Battles countercharges a bit, but that fails for Tau, and the Kroot are wiped. Retaining, the Tigershark comes and fires at the Silver Towers, but only manages to give a blast marker. And the Silver Towers try to double, but they hold, removing the blast marker instead, as they failed to activate. Then it's Tau and the surviving Pathfinder from the Firewarrior caterer, Mechanized Firewarrior caterer, move to take the Blitz and another objective on their side. The Lost and Damned go next, and it's the Ultra Coven, and they engage the Pathfinders. There we go, and a lot of change charges inside to some of the Pathfinders, and they wipe the Pathfinders out while taking a couple of points of damage to the Lord of Change. There we go. Then it's Tau and the Barracuda make contact, but they fail to damage the Lord of Battle. And the Lord of Battle then engage, ramming into the Kroot, and that doesn't go well for Tau, as the Kroot are wiped out. Then the drop Firewarriors, and they engage as well, so lots of engaging going on in this turn. And they go into firefight against the Khorne demon engines. However, the battle doesn't go very well for either of the sides, so very little damage done, but there we go. Then the defense Coven, which decides to move out instead of waiting in Overwatch, and they double, and they move another forest in hopes of firing at drones. And while they get out quite many shots, they don't actually manage to do that much damage, only one drone killed. There we go. And from the Tau it's drones which tried to regroup but failed and hold instead, and they move out of the way from the attacking Coven. And finally the Mutant Coven, which rallied, then marches ahead, taking up positions in the buildings, which now doesn't have lots of Firewarriors and Kroots in them. Then to the end of the turn, we can see that in the left flank the Lieutenant have taken over except for the drones, and in the center the mutants, Lord of Battle and Altar are all moving forward. On the left the drop Firewarriors are still holding it. Here is the turn before rallying, so lots of broken arm sections in left. Tau holding their blitz, but in the center Lord of Battles and Altar Coven are taking hold, while far right is the broken Mechanized Coven and drones, Silver Towers, and then in Lost and the defense Coven. And then the Khorne demon engines, which failed to rally, make a withdrawal to the center. Then turn 4, Tau win the action and start with coordinate fire. So first the Lone Crisis 2 goes, and behind the Lord of Battles fires at it but doesn't do any damage, and then the larger Crisis go in front of the Lord of Battle and fire, failing to do damage. Retaining the Tau Barracuda failed to activate. Well, then from Lost and Damned, Silver Towers take double, move to take control of the objective, and try to check if they could take the other one, but can't. So they end up firing at the drones and manage only to kill one. So drones didn't break. Then the drones regroup, taking control of one objective there, and then realizing that since there isn't much opposition, they can spread out and contest the other one as well, like so, and removing the blast markers. Then in the center for Lost and Damned, the Mutant Coven engages the Firewarriors, and this kind of represents the battle, so bad dice rolling for both sides, only one kill due to resolution. And the Lost and Damned summoned some lesser demons and lost them in the combat, but winning it nonetheless. Well, on Tau side, Tigershark stands down, Lord of Battle tries to activate, fails twice with Supreme Commander, holds and fires at the long unit. Then it's Defense Coven, and that fails also, and finally the Altar Coven, which doubles, moving to the center and using the Lord of Change to kill one unit off from the last of the Crisis there. Poof. Then let's look at some still pictures from the end. So here we have Lord of Battles versus Crisis, and behind them the two Covens, Altar and Mutant. We didn't get a fifth turn, so this is the end of the game. Everybody rallied, so since there are no conditions scored for either of the armies, we go for checking points, and the Lost of Damned won by 1950 versus Tau's 682.5 points. So that's it. I hope you liked this. The game was quite intense for us and we enjoyed playing it. Hope you enjoyed watching it. If you like. If you'd like to subscribe, that's fine. And finally, the music is from Kevin MacLeod from incompetent.com, and the software that I used to do this battle report is listed there. Thanks for watching.